Welcome to the HQSD approved Earth and Space post-test covering standards 7.ESS.5 and 7.ESS.4. You put your first and last name. It says today you will be taking an assessment concerning Earth and space. In particular, you are being assessed on the standards 7.ESS.5. The relative positions of Earth and the Sun cause patterns we call seasons, and 7.ESS.4. The relative patterns and motions of positions of Earth, Moon, and Sun cause solar and lunar eclipses, tides, and phases of the Moon. Answer each question to the best of your ability. Think about what is being asked and answer accordingly. Number 1. Study the diagram below. Which of these identifies what someone on Earth would see when the Earth and the Moon are in the positions shown in the drawing? Notice where the light from the Sun is. If you need to change the Sun to the bottom, please do so. And then answer the question. Study the diagram below. Which of these identifies what someone on Earth could see when the Earth and the Moon are in the positions shown in the drawing? A quarter moon or a full moon? A is a quarter moon, B is a full moon. Number 2. Which is true of summer months of the Northern Hemisphere? A, days are shorter. B, days are longer. Number 2, which is true of the summer months of the Northern Hemisphere? A, days are shorter. B, days are longer. There is no C. 3, the way the light hits the Earth's surface impacts temperatures. If the spotlights below represent light coming from the Sun, which statements would be true? Check all that apply. It wants you to check 2. So if spotlight A is the Sun or spotlight B is the Sun, which statements would be true? Check 2. A, spotlight A represents indirect sunlight. Spotlight B represents direct sunlight. B, spotlight A represents direct sunlight. Spotlight B represents indirect sunlight. So those are one or the other. Okay? So is A indirect or is A direct? Is B direct or is B indirect? Next part of that is areas under spotlight A would be warmer, while areas under spotlight B would be cooler. Or is it areas under spotlight A would be cooler, while areas under spotlight B would be warmer? So again, you're choosing one of those two. So it's 2 altogether. Number 4, what positions of the Moon, M, will create a greater tidal range? Choice A is A right here and C right here. Choice B is, Choice B is right here and right here. Okay, so what positions of the Moon will create a greater tidal range? A and C or B and D? Greater tidal range means bigger tides, meaning higher high tides, lower low tides. 5, why does the Moon have a greater effect on the tides than the Sun? Number 5, why does the Moon have a greater effect on the tides than the Sun? A, the Sun is closer to the Earth than the Moon. B, the Moon is closer to the Earth than the Sun. A, Sun is closer to the Earth than the Moon. B, the Moon is closer than the Sun to the Earth. 6, the phases of the Moon and seasons on Earth are caused by several factors. If a full moon occurs on August 1st, the next full moon will occur on blank. A, August 2nd, B, August 8th, C, August 30th. So to go from one full moon to the next full moon. If it occurs on August 1st, when will I get another full moon? A, August 2nd, B, August 8th, C, August 30th. Number 7, Which diagram most accurately represents the effect of the gravitational pull on the moon on Earth's ocean tides? So which diagram below shows the effect of the gravitational pull on the moon of Earth's ocean tides? Is it A or B? So A is the Earth with high tide here, and the moon right here. Or B shows the high tide here, and the moon right here. So is it A or B? Number 8. Which diagram below shows the relationship between the sun, the moon, and the earth when the moon is full? So when it's a full circle. Is it A, with the moon here, the earth here, and the sun here? Or is it B, the moon here, the earth here, and the sun here? Again, which one will create a full moon, A or B? Number 9. Which diagram shows the Earth-Moon-Sun system arranged to cause a total solar eclipse? So when will we have a total solar eclipse? Is it here where the sun's here, the earth is here, and the moon is here? Or is it when the sun is here, the moon's here, the earth is here? So which one will cause a total solar eclipse, A or B? Number 10. A student observed the shape of the moon once every 7 days during the month of June. Which of the following sets of drawings shows how the moon's shape could have changed during the month of June? A student observed the shape of the moon once every 7 days during the month of June. Which of the following sets of drawings shows how the moon's shape could have changed during the month of June? So if we choose A, you're saying it starts out like this on June 1st. 1 week later, it would look like this on June 8th. 1 week after June 8th, it would look like this on June 15th. 1 week after June 15th, it would look like this on June 22nd. And 1 week after June 22nd, it would look like this on June 29th. That's choice A. Choice B is showing it would look like this on June 1st. 1 week later on June 8th, it would look like this. 1 week after June 8th, it would look like this on June 15th. 1 week later after June 15th, it would look like this on June 22nd. 1 week later after June 22nd, it would look like this on June 29th. C, is this the correct order? If it starts like this on June 1st, 1 week later, it would look like this on June 8th. 1 week later on the 15th, after the 8th, it would look like this. 1 week after the 15th, it would look like this on June 22nd. And 1 week after June 22nd, it would look like this on June 29th. A, B, or C? What's the correct order? 11. A new moon, as viewed from Earth, is diagrammed below. Which statement best describes how a new moon occurs? A, Earth is between the moon and the sun. Or B, the moon is between the earth and the sun. So which one describes how a new moon occurs? Number 12. Which picture shows summer in the northern hemisphere? Which picture shows summer in the northern hemisphere? Is it number 2 or is it number 4? Number 2 or number 4, summer in the northern hemisphere. Number 3, Kim observed that the moon on November 4th was in its waxing crescent phase. Which phase of the moon will Kim observe on November 18th? So what you have to do here, you have to take November 18th minus November 4th. How much time is that? Keep that in mind and say, okay, start on the waxing crescent phase and then go however much time that is. On the 18th, will she see a full moon? A waxing gibbous, which is B, or a waning gibbous, which is C. So again, start out on the waxing crescent on the 4th. Days later on the 18th, what is she going to see? So you have to figure out how many days are in between the 4th and the 18th, and then count that on your diagram. Number 14, which arrangement below of the sun, moon, and earth could cause a lunar eclipse? Again, which arrangement below of the sun, moon, and earth would cause a lunar eclipse? A lunar eclipse. A, which is the sun, the earth, and the moon, or B, which is the sun, the moon, and the earth. Lunar eclipse. Number 15, the distance from the earth to the moon is approximately 384,000 kilometers. If the distance were to increase to 500,000 kilometers, which statements about the tides would be correct? So what we're doing here is we're pretending that we are increasing the distance between the moon and the earth. So the moon would be much further away from the earth now. Which statement about the tides would be correct? A, there would be no high tides or low tides. C, the difference between a high tide and a low tide would be much less. Or D, the difference between high tide and low tide would not change. So if we're increasing the distance from the pull of gravity of the moon, A, there would be no tides at all, no high tides, no low tides. B, the difference between the high tide and low tide would be much less, or the difference would not change. 16. The picture below shows the appearance of the moon that a student observed on a clear night. Which phase of the moon could the student observe 3.5 nights later? Again, 16. The picture below shows the appearance of the moon that a student observed on a clear night, which is this one right here. Which phase of the moon would the student observe 3.5 nights later? A, this one. B, this one. Or C, this one. 3.5 nights later after this one. Number 17. Which statement describes factors that have the greatest influence on tides? So what is the greatest influence on tides? A, Earth rotates on its axis once each day, and the gravity of the moon causes the ocean to bulge. Or B, Earth rotates on its axis once each year, and the gravity of the moon causes the ocean to bulge. The second half is the same, however, the first half is not. A says Earth rotates on its axis once each day, and then the second half is about the gravity. B is different. It says Earth rotates on its axis once each year, and then the second half is the same about gravity. Number 18, the moon and the sun exert gravitational pull on the oceans, resulting in high and low tides. Which diagram shows where the sun, the earth, and the moon would need to be positioned to produce the highest tides on Earth at point Z? So this is point Z. Do I want my moon and my sun to be right here to produce the highest tide at point Z? Or do I want at point Z my sun and my moon to be over here? So where do I want my moon and my sun to show the highest tide? Number 19, which position would show fall or autumn in the northern hemisphere? Fall or autumn. The easiest way to do this is to find summer or winter first in the northern hemisphere, and then use your knowledge about how the earth revolves or orbits counterclockwise. So which position would show fall or autumn in the northern hemisphere? B or D? Number 20, which best describes the moon? 20, which best describes the moon? The moon waxes as the visible portion appears to grow, or the moon wanes as the visible portion appears to grow? 21. The diagram below shows the relative positions of the sun, the earth, and the moon. Which eclipse will occur if the moon enters the umbra region of the Earth's shadow in this diagram? So the umbra, will it be A, a total lunar eclipse, or B, a total solar eclipse? 22 is your ace. It says compare and contrast a total solar and a total lunar eclipse. Give one difference and one similarity. Notice it's A, C, 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 E. So I'm looking for anywhere from 3 to 4 sentences. All right, you could combine maybe some of the C's. So you should have, there are several similarities and differences to a total and solar lunar eclipse. Period. One similarity is, and then give me something specific that both of them have in common. Then your next 2 C's could be one sentence long if you use the word and. So if you were to say one difference is a solar eclipse, blah, 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 and a lunar eclipse is blah, blah, blah. That is one way you could combine those C's. And then E, this means, and then give me a wrap-up sentence that explains that they are not the same thing, even though they have a similarity. 23, what would happen to the seasons if the Earth was not tilted? Give a reason to support your answer. You are saying, if, what would happen to the seasons if the Earth was not tilted? Give a reason to support your answer. Sentence starters. You are saying, if the Earth were not tilted, we would, and then explain what we would experience on Earth. We would experience blank on Earth, or we would whatever with the seasons. C, this is because, and give me that reason to support your answer. But this almost needs a second reason as well, because the first one and the second are probably going to be something similar. You need to expand upon that first reason. All right. And then say this means and explain how are your reasons or explanations support the answer of what would happen. If you need to repeat any of this video, please go back and rewind it as many times as you need to, or click pause and answer at any point that you need to. Thank you.